Hi everyone, my name is Mohammad Shafiq Shahad from Petronas Group Procurement. So, as some of you might be aware, we are upgrading our current licensing and registration system ROS into a new platform named Petronas Licensing Management System (PLMS). So, it is more like a replacement to the current ROS, but on top of it, we also going to introduce a lot of enhancement on the processes, on the simplification, uh, to make sure that we should be able to simplify the licensing and registration process. And number two, it's easy for you because the navigation is much more intuitive. So here's are some of the difference between PLMS and ROS. So first of all, PLMS will come with their own homepage. The new dashboard will highlight all the important information at a glance. You will be able to see your license status. You can easily continue from where you left off before this, and you can easily check like the summary of how many strikes you have so far. And then we also make the process of filling up your company information is much more easier because we have built in the integration directly with SSM. So all your company information is auto-populated from SSM. You don't have to fill up anything on your company profile, company application. All you have to do is just to validate and ensure that the remaining fields are complete and accurate. In the event that your company profile is not updated, then you have to go to SSM and update that accordingly before you come back into PLMS and do the refresh. So in PLMS, company and swag application are separated altogether, meaning as compared to current ROS, you have to submit. For example, I take a simple example, let's say renewal. So inside renewal, you have to complete like all the company information, you have to complete all the swag information before you can submit to Petronas. So that alone took you around 1 or 2 months to just complete the application. So what we are doing in PLMS is that we are totally separating the process whereby you can first start with your company application. Once complete, you can submit your company application. So we can start to process your company application. At the same time, you can already start to apply for or drafting your swag one by one. So this greatly helps you to make the process much more faster, much more simplified. You will also be able to submit new swag application while waiting for approval of the previous swag submission. Right? And then your company and swag requirement are now centralized and easily viewable in PLMS. So if I want to compare to our current way of doing things inside ROS, I know you have to download. One thing, you have ROS as a system that you need to fill up all the information, but you also need to download a separate copy of the swag list as well as the MTR for you to refer to. So we have incorporated all of this requirement directly in the system, so it is easier for you to refer while doing the application because the requirements are reflected directly in the application screen itself. So if you see here, one of the example for key personnel, let's say the requirement is two key personnel. One is a project technical manager and another one lead senior engineer. So all the requirements are clearly stated here. Right, and then we also have the notification panel, as we call it, right? So I think inside ROS, before this, all the communication, all the rejection or even the approval, we communicated through email. So, but in PLMS, everything is centralized into one single panel here. So you will be sent an email, number one. At the same time, you also get notification in the system that will guide you to specific items that require amendment. So for example here, company profile requires further findings. So you just click on the update company profile details and that the system will bring you straight away to the section that requires your amendment. Next is on the visibility of your application status. I know this is also the major pain point that all our suppliers or partners are facing because inside ROS, there's a very limited information on your application status. You just have draft, submitted, and approved. That's it. But inside here, we clearly specify what are the processes or what are the steps required for your application or for your swag to be approved. So you will need to populate, you will need to comply to all of this information one by one, submit the approval, get it reviewed, and then finally you will get it approved. So it is easy for you to just refer to one system to monitor all of your submission. Alright, so that's all the important changes that we have introduced inside PLMS. But there's a lot more things that I can share, but I think because of the limited time that we have now, so I just focus on the important parts. So now we will share what will be your experience in using PLMS in a step-by-step. Right? So these are the steps that you will take once PLMS is live and roll out to you. The first thing that you will need to do is creating your PLMS account. From there, you can start your renewal process by submitting your company application, followed by your swag application. And if, let's say, after submission, if there is more information required in your application, let's say your technical person is not meeting the requirement or the experience that required for the MTR, then you will be notified and asked to provide in step number 4, further information response, right? Otherwise, once your application is approved, you can proceed to pay the license and download your license certificate. So the last step is not really a step connected to this approval or even all of this, but this is just an application whereby this is optional, where you might want to update your company profile or swag MTR in order to keep it updated, or to comply with special condition, or even to upgrade from registration to license. So starting with account creation, when PLMS is live, you will be sent a system-generated email inviting you to register your company PLMS account. Right? So all of you are already our licensed or registered vendor in ROS and active. So when we go live later on, you will get an email notification saying that you have been invited to be as a supplier admin for your company name, and then you just have to click here to log into PLMS. So after you create your account, just log in with your account credential, email address as well as password, and sign into my account. Right? In the event that you forgot your password, you can use the link here to just reset your password and follow the instruction in the email address. So the first step in the licensing registration process is, of course, submitting your company application. Right. So as most of you are existing Petronas suppliers, so 4 months before your license registration expiry date, you will receive an email notification reminding you to renew your license or registration. The first step here is you will need to click on the company profile. So on the left here, you can find one of the button here. I believe this is the button, the company profile. So once you get into your company profile, and there's a button for you to renew your license, right? So to start your renewal, just click on the renew license. So just to walk you through on the company profile, so these are basically your summary of your company that you have submitted to us before, like your company name, company information, shareholder, number of swags, all this important summary are here. Right? So after you initiate your renewal application, then click on the pop-up box here. Let's get started. So as mentioned earlier, when you key in your ROC number, so for existing supplier, your ROC number is already there. There will be a button for you to fetch your updated company information from SSM, and that information will be populated in the form directly. So you can't really change any of this information. It will be straight away pre-populated. So number one, it's gonna improve the experience because you don't have to fill up any of this information. It's just there. You just need to verify that your information are the latest one. If let's say in the event that your company information is not updated, then you are required to update your company information from SSM before you come back to PLMS and just refresh that another time. You just need to verify this information, all of it, and then after it's good, you have verified and you found out that this is your latest information. You just need to click save and review. After you click save and review, the system will bring you to another page, which is a company profile, right? So inside company profile, there's a few more optional information that you will need to submit. On the left of the screen, you will be able to see all the different sections of the company application that you need to complete. Here is an example of how section will look like in certification. Right? So this is certification section. Once you have completed and reviewed all of the section, you can submit your company application and move on to the next step. Okay, so this is the SWAG home screen, right? There's a button on the left here for you to click on the SWAG application, and from here you will be able to see all of the 1,300 plus SWAGs that are available for you to apply. Okay, so you can search for the SWAG by navigating to the SWAG hierarchy in the left column here. So if let's say we have segregate by the category of the SWAG, for example, air transportation, catering, civil, consultancy, electrical. If let's say your company provide on electrical services or product, then you just click on electrical engineering, and you should be able to find your relevant SWAG. And then here on the center is are all the SWAG listing, right? So these are the name of the SWAG, the SWAG code, the type, whether this SWAG code is for license registration, the minimum mode of operation, as well as some other requirements. Okay. If let's say you are interested to apply for one of these services, let's say feasibility study, conceptual design, subsea engineering, right? So you just click on this subsea engineering. On your right, there will be the summary of that SWAG before you start applying. So inside here, you will be prompted with all the requirements for this SWAG. For example, this one, they require the company experience, key personnel, facilities, equipment, as well as certification. So this is the part whereby you don't have to refer to the MTR, a separate MTR in the Excel or PDF, right? So you just have to refer here. If let's say you can meet this requirement and you are interested to apply this SWAG, then just click apply SWAG as self-operated. Okay, so similar to how we do things in ROS right now, one SWAG can have multiple mode of operation. So if let's say you want to apply a different mode of operation, let's say as agent, there will be a drop down up top here. So you just change the self-operated to agent or manufacturer or fabricator, whichever mode of operation that suits you. Then just change that and then proceed to apply. So once confirmed, click the apply SWAG button to proceed. All right. So for existing suppliers, right? Most of you are all the existing suppliers. If let's say your license is going to expire, then you will be prompted with almost similar screen, just that when you go into your company profile, there's a list of SWAG. So from here, you can see all of the SWAG that you have currently expired. Okay, so to renew, we just click on one of these items, one of the SWAG. Let's say I just want to renew subsea feasibility as well as engineering support services. So first I click subsea engineering services and I click renew this SWAG as self-operated. You will be redirected to the actual SWAG application screen, right? So on the left, there is a summary of the SWAG. This is still similar to how we do things in ROS right now. We don't really change it that much. On this part, we have number one, the principal, the key personnel, experience, facilities and equipment, certification, vessel and rate. So it depends on the mode of operation or even swag that you have selected. Some swag only have one, some swag have all, and maybe some swag don't even have any of these MTR. Okay, so if let's say there is MTR, then of course you need to comply with the MTR. Okay, here is an example of how filling in the MTR will look like in PLMS. The requirement will appear in a box on the right here for your reference. So as and when you fill up this, all of these requirement, you can easily refer to. For example, here, minimum 5 years project experience in executing subsea feasibility studies and conceptual engineering. So you will need to, I already included 2 examples here. So if let's say you want to add more, then you just click button select here and then fill up the details of the MTR, and then you can see all the requirement here. But again, all of these requirement after you submit is still subject to our approval. Okay, so at the bottom of the screen, you will see submit buttons. We just click on the submit, and this swag application, this one swag application we will start to review the swag application. And like I mentioned before, after you submit this swag, you can start to apply for another swag. All right, so after your submission, your company and swag application will be processed, and subsequently your application may be returned to you if more information is needed, which brings us to step number 4, further information response. In the event that your application requires further information, you will receive an email and message in your dashboard notifying you to amend your application. So in this notification, you will be informed on the section that require further input, and links will be available directly to navigate you to required section. For example, here we have reviewed your application and found out an error for one of the section. So please review your application and resubmit. So what you need to do next is just click on the update company profile button. So once you click on that link, in this example, we are required to amend the certification section. So as you can see, this section is highlighted in yellow here, certification and required info. And then here also we highlighted in yellow. Right? So at a glance, you know exactly that, okay, these are the part that I need to amend with the remarks over here. In this process, you can just amend according to the remarks. So if let's say the certification was expired, then you can resubmit within your certification. And then after that, you can resubmit your company application. The same process applies as well to the swag application, right? So in this case, you apply for one of the swag, and then the key personnel requires for the information. You will clearly see on the screen that section highlighted as yellow with some of the remarks, right? So what you need to do is just comply to that requirement and resubmit the application. Now, for the next step is the approval and license fee payment. Once your company application has been approved, you will be notified to pay the license fee. If you are applying or renewing your patron association, then no payment is required. Okay, so it's a bit of change to how we do our current ROS, because inside ROS, you will need to wait until your company approval, and then you need to wait until first swag approval before you need to pay the license. But in the effort to simplify the process, what we do in PLMS is that after you submit your company application and it has been approved, you can start even to pay your license. At the same time, after you pay the license, you can straight away you can start to apply your swag, and then add another swag on top of the license certificate. So as and when your swag has been approved, it will be automatically updated on top of your existing license. Okay, so to begin the license payment, again, you just log into your dashboard. So there's a button for you to pay license fee. Just click on that button. So after you make the payment, then you can download your license certificate. Okay, so to view your license certificate, there's a button as well. Just click on view certificate and then you can download this. Right, so approval and license fee payment is the final step in the overall end-to-end new or renewal application for license registration with Petronas. This is the optional step, updating your license and registration, updating your company or updating your swag. Right? So if let's say you think you want to update some of your information, then you can do so in this step, update license and registration. So if let's say you want to update your information, just click on the update details, and then the same process apply. You will go into the company application, provide your changes, and then submit, and then after that we will approve your company information. Okay, so after I click on that application, your company application will reflect as status in draft, right? To indicate that you are currently updating your information. Right? So like I mentioned before, to upgrade from registration to license, you just go to the company details section here and just select license and then submit. Right? Once we approve your application, then you will need to pay your license. So similar to updating your company profile, you will be able to also make changes to your swag details if updates are required, right? This may include a change of principal, a change of mode of operation, or even you want to comply with a special condition. Navigate to the swag list and click on My Swag here, or you can even go to company profile, click on My Swag. You will see the same listing, right? So on your swag list, you will see all the important status. So if you see here, this is active, indicate that this swag is active. This is expired, then you need to renew your swag. And then if let's say I want to update the non-compliance part because there's a special condition or even there's some requirement that you don't meet, right? So to initiate the process, click on the three dot here, the option button. Okay. The swag will reflect its status as draft, right? Similar to company application, and you can proceed to make the necessary changes to the applicable section, right? So in this case, I want to change my principal. Let's say I've appointed another principal, then I just need to remove Geokinetics Incorporated and select a new or declare a new agent, and then submit your swag application. So that's basically updating your application. That brings us to the end of our PLMS walkthrough. To wrap up, we want to share some quick do's and don'ts with regard to PLMS. In addition to PLMS, we are also updating our swags. The updated swags will have a clean, clear structure and will have an expanded scope for certain categories. So all swags, all your existing swag will be automatically remapped and reflected in PLMS and will be immediately be accessible to you upon go live. What this means is there will be clearer swag definition, updated swag codes, and description and streamlining the categories, right? So if you see our current swag list, you might find like a duplicate of swag, but in a way similar swag. So inside here we have cleaned up all of these issues into much more clearer, cleaner, and streamlined categories. We will now move on to Smart by GEP, where we will cover the source to contract activities in the new platform. we are implementing a new procurement platform called Smart by GEP, which will enhance your experience working with us as your partner. Some of these benefits include centralized bid submission, seamless tender clarification, quick view of contractual documents, streamlined invoice submission, as well as transparent procurement transaction. Let's take a quick look at the new Smart by GEP platform. The homepage in Smart is simplified and compact with only these three main functions, making navigation much more intuitive. ITB, or known as RFX, is sent online and kept in a central repository within Smart for you to easily view at any time. All bid submission will be done online through Smart and will require only soft copy documentation, reducing administrative efforts and costs. There will be also a dedicated discussion forum where you can communicate with the buyer regarding the tender. So inside here, if let's say you have any queries or you want to ask something or requirement inside the tender that you don't understand, then you can easily communicate with the buyer inside Smart. So all the responses will be kept directly in one central place. Now I will share what will be your experience using Smart by GEP. For all tender initiated in Smart, you will be able to use some of the function in the new platform until the full go live in Q3, Q4 2020. This includes account activation, supply profile, approval and update, artifact response, tender clarification, commercial resubmission, as well as LOA acceptance. So there's two major process here. One is on updating or accessing Smart and updating your supply profile. And number 3, 4, 5, and 6 is more or less on the tender requirements. We start off with the first step, account activation. A system-generated email containing artifacts and registration instruction will be sent to all of you. And starting 15 June, all of you will receive the notification email to create your Smart account. So if let's say you are already have a Smart account, then you can click here. And if let's say you are a new user to Smart, you can click this button for you to create your account. And then after you click that button, you will see the primary registration form, right? This is just a one-page form for you to fill out all the relevant information. And then if let's say you want to grant additional access to Smart, so there's a section called secondary contact information. You can add additional information here. So after you fill up all this information, just click submit. After creating your account, you will receive an account activation email, similar like this. So simply click on the link in the email, and then you will be redirected to Smart by GEP login page. So you just enter using your created username and password and click on login. For those who already have an existing Smart account with another company, when you log in, you will be prompted to select which company you would like to view into. So if let's say you want to view artifacts from Petronas, you just click Petronas. If let's say you want to view a tender from a different company that use Smart, you can click on that company name and click on submit. Upon successful login, the Smart by GEP user homepage will appear. Right? So like I mentioned before, you will see 3 different buttons here: task, manage, create. So the next step is to update your supply profile. This module is mostly applicable to new suppliers who have just become Petronas supplier. For new supplier, the supplier profile can be completed at any time, but it is required to be updated in order for you to be eligible for any artifacts award and to receive purchase orders from Petronas. However, for most of you who are existing Petronas licensed registration supplier, your supply profile will be automatically migrated into Smart. So you only need to confirm and verify that your supplier profile is approved and you are good to go. However, I will walk you through on this supply profile step to help you familiarize with the navigation to the supply profile. So to navigate the supply profile, just click on the button at the bottom right here, and then you will be redirected to your supply profile. So in your supply profile, you will need to ensure all the sections are completed before submitting for any approval. Completed section will be marked green, while red indicates the section requires further input or amendment. So if you see here, there's one section marked as red, then you just click on this button. It will direct you to that section and you can make changes to that. So for more information on how to navigate on what are the information available inside this inside the supply profile, you can look through in the user guide in the vendor announcement portal. So once everything has been completed, you just simply click save and submit, and data quality check will be performed automatically by the system. So if let's say there is any errors, let's say your payment terms is not filled up, so you just amend those information before you click save and submit again. But if let's say there is no other error message appear on this page, then your application will be submitted for approval. After your supply profile has been approved, you can still make changes by creating a change request. This is done in the supply profile. So when you log into your profile, you just click on the supply profile again, and then there's a button called create change request. So any changes you want to make to your supplier profile, let's say you want to add a new ordering location, right, or new bank details, you just click on create change request and do those click yes, the confirmation box here, and proceed with the changes. Then after that, submit to us for the approval. Once your account and supply profile has been sorted, you may begin responding to the RFX whenever that you get the invitation, of course. So the first step to participating in the tender is to accept the guidelines. This was previously known as acceptance of invitation to bid. To start, click on task and select the RFX that needs to be responded to. So after you click on that RFX, these are the RFX detail screen. Here you will need to review all the guidelines, and after you review the guidelines, you want to accept or you want to declare your participation with the tender. You just tick here on the guideline and then click on accept guideline. Alternatively, you may choose to decline the invitation if in the event that you see the scope, you don't really provide that kind of material or services, then you can decline the invitation by clicking the decline invitation button. If after decline, you decided you want to again participate in the RFX, then you can click on the dotted icon on the top right and then click on accept invitation to re-participate in the RFX. After reviewing and accepting the tender guidelines, supplier will be required to provide their responses to the tender requirement. Each tender requirements may vary, but the typical section included are as follows: the team members, the contract terms, questionnaire, price sheets, and attachment. Okay, so in the team member section, you may add current contacts from your company to be part of this tender. So if let's say you have a team of 3 people working on the same tender, you can create their own email ID and password so that they can access SMART and access the tender as team members for your company. So there's 4 different user roles inside RFX team members. Number 1 is the primary responder. He is the main focal person for this tender. Number 2 is collaborator. So a team member who is able to review and make edits to the RFX. Number 3 is the viewer. He or she able to view, but he cannot make any changes, any editing in the submission. And number 4 is no access. In the contract term section, you may accept or modify the contract term. Start by clicking on the terms and condition to review them. From here, if you wish to make any changes to the terms and condition, check out the document to add your notes. Here, when you click on general terms and condition, you will see the checkout button here. So you just click on the checkout button, add your notes, and then re-upload the same amended document by clicking upload minor version. Once done, click check in, and then the new changes or the new version of that terms and condition will be updated in the contract terms. You also need to check the box here to confirm that you have read all the contract terms, because you will not be able to proceed if the box is not checked. Next, in the questionnaire section, you are required to respond to all questionnaire listed. It is your responsibility to ensure all answers provided are truthful and accurate, as the patronage buyers will be verifying the information provided. You can save your progress at any point of time during the questionnaire. So if, let's say, the question, you don't really know how to respond to that question, you can always come back later to respond, as long as you're still within the tender submission, tender responses time frame. So after you're done, click done to complete the questionnaire section. The next section is the price sheet section, which represents the commercial aspect of the tender. There are two ways for you to submit your price sheet. One is via Smart by GEP user interface, or second one is using Microsoft Excel upload. So updating via the Smart GEP user interface means you will be entering the price sheet directly within the platform. So if you see here, there is a two columns here that indicate you need to respond to these line items, whether you want to bid for this item or not, and what are the price per unit for this item. So you can enter one by one inside Smart directly. The other way to submit is to enter your price sheet via the Microsoft Excel sheet template. The template can be found on the top right corner of the tender page. You can download this, you can translate and download this. There's a button, something like this, download icon. You will get to download the Excel version, and then you can make the changes on the Excel. Once done, it's just simply that you need to upload this one back into Smart. So all the price sheet will be updated directly on the UI. In the attachment section, you can review and provide attachment for supplementary document. So under supplier, you can attach document related to the artifact, such as CV, product specs, and indicate whether it is a technical or commercial related attachment. It depends on the questionnaire or requirement that has been posted in the questionnaire here. You can submit your information here. So under attachment, there's two items here. So for supplier, this is the one that you can upload your document. In the buyer section, you can download any documents for your reference that our buyer have provided to you. It is compulsory to also view all the attachments prior to bid submission. So after accepting the guidelines and responding to all the required section, you can click Submit Response to officially submit your bid. If you wish to change your responses, you can do so by withdrawing your response. However, there is only available if the response timeline is still open. The next function we'll be covering is the tender clarification. Right? If you have any queries or require any clarification regarding the tender, you must do so using the discussion forum. You can access the discussion forum by clicking the chat icon at the top. There's a chat icon here in the artifact section. So you click on the item, then you will get to see the discussion forum here. You can respond directly to any messages from the buyer, and a number notification will appear in the chat icon. Next, click on the pencil icon here to start writing your query. You can also upload any attachment in your query, and then after you attach the attachment, and then click post here to submit your chat. Please note that queries will be responded by respective buyer or sourcing exec whilst being documented and contractually binding. So following your discussion with the buyer, any amendments that you would like to make to your bid needs to be done within the artifact section if the response timeline is still open. However, if the response timeline has closed, you will have to submit your bid amendments by uploading them in the discussion forum. You can do so by creating a new query, again, a new query up here, and then upload your amendment as attachment. Just click on the attachment button and click on post. So next is the commercial resubmission, which will involve the auction and negotiation process. Auction activities will be initiated by the sourcing exec, by our buyer, and notification will be sent out to you if you have been selected to participate in the auction. So to participate in the auction, simply go to your task and under action pending, select the corresponding action. You should be able to see one of the tasks here called auction for you to respond to. So once you click on the auction, review and accept the NDA and the tender, the terms and condition of the tender. Just click here. I have read the terms and condition and click on accept. On the auction page, place your bid here. You are allowed to place your bid continuously during the auction live period, which can be observed here. Once this timer turns to zero, the auction will end. Upon success of the revised price, you will be notified and should proceed to the next step of resubmitting your price sheet. If the buyer has to negotiate the commercial response, you will need to resubmit your price sheet. This also applies if you were successful during the auction process. To resubmit your new price, click Task and select the tender you wish to respond to. So it should be the same tender that you have previously participated. So in the price sheet section, click the View Feedback link. You will then have to enter the revised price in the specified column. So all of you will be notified on the color definition and the revised price requirement by Petronas. So please observe all these, all the description provided, instruction provided by the buyer, because tender from tender, the requirement may vary. After you have updated all of this information, you just simply have to click done here. Lastly, we have reached the letter of award stage. If you are the winning bidder of the tender, you will receive an email notifying you of the letter of award. The buyer or author will then post topic in discussion forum for you to perform the LOA acceptance. So upon receipt of the LOA documents, you are required to respond to the topic, acknowledging and indicating your acceptance to the LOA. So you just respond that yes, we accept the LOA, we acknowledge the LOA, and then click on post here. That basically concludes our Smart by GEP walkthrough today. Here are some Smart by GEP do's and don'ts that you should observe.